Hello, and another warm welcome from the studios of BRTK in Lefkosha. My name is Jangazi, and this is another Cup of Conversation. This week in the studios, I have two lovely people. Just met them literally a few minutes ago, and I'm with two students here in the TRNC. I have Sean and Chipo in the studio, and both of them are very, very intelligent. Both of them have written books, or are writing books at the moment, and we're going to be talking about their life in the TRNC and about, well, African culture once again. So it's great to have these lovely guests in the studios of Baidak. Guys, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having us here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for finding me on social media and for contacting me, Sean. And I was friends with Chipo a while back, but we haven't actually met personally. So it's great to meet both of you guys in face for the first time. Sean, what's your full name?
My full name is Sean Emmanuel Nota.
And you are a student here in North Cyprus, is that right?
Yes, I'm an international relations student at Cyprus International University.
Excellent. And what year are you in now?
I'm in my final year. In my final year,
so you'll be graduating?
I'll be rounding up very soon, yes.
And you are originally from?
From Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe?
Yes,
lovely.
To be precise, yeah.
So it's good to have you here in the studios.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for coming today. And quickly, let's say a big hello once again to Chipo.
Hi.
Nice to see you, Chipo.
Nice to see you too.
Where are you studying at the moment?
I'm studying at Eastern Mediterranean University in Famagusta.
And your subject is?
Computer engineering.
Computer engineering?
Yes.
Very interesting. And what year are you in?
I'm also in the same
final
yes, in my final year.
So you also graduate this year?
Yes, very soon. Very soon.
And where are you from originally?
I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm from Zimbabwe as well.
Right, so you're both from Zimbabwe?
Yes, we're both from Zimbabwe.
Yes.
We're both from Zimbabwe.
And did you know each other before you came here?
We met on the island.
We met in our first year.
Excellent. Very good. Now, Sean, let me ask you a bit of background before we talk about the subject of the programme. From Zimbabwe to North Cyprus, how did you get to study here? I mean, you know, I have met many African students on my programme. You are all very, very well-spoken, intelligent, very interesting people. It's lovely to have you guys studying here. But I always say, you know, it's a very unusual choice. I mean, we're such a small island. Maybe, you know, you've never heard of Cyprus before, but what's your link with Cyprus? I mean, had you heard of the island before? Has somebody else in your family or friends studied here before?
Yes, for me, there's a friend of mine that came 2-3 years before me. And he told me about the place and the opportunities that are there. And I thought, well, it's a place that I could probably pursue my career and be exposed to the greater world. So that's the choice for Cyprus.
Was it always your intention to study international relations? Initially,
I wanted to do law. And at the time, they were not offering law in Cyprus, but now they have it international law. But I always had a political interest to understand that political configurations of the world. So with that and the exposure that I had with my A-level, I decided to take international relations.
What do you hope to do then when you finally graduate? I mean, are you going to go back and continue studying abroad somewhere else or go back to Zimbabwe? What will you do?
Probably go back home, contribute to the nation for some time, and see where the wheels of fate will take me. But most likely I'll go back home and see how it goes.
See how it goes, excellent. Cyprus is a very unusual or very good country for you to maybe study international relations because of our political situation here.
Yes.
I mean, not that we're going to go into politics in our programme now, but, you know, it's quite a hot subject, isn't it, for us?
It is, considering the geographical location. We're within the proximity of Africa, the Middle East and Europe, and their own complex political situations that we have within Cyprus. It's an interesting case study, and it's actually a good opportunity as a platform to access the political influences. You find that the history of Cyprus gives you leverage if you're going into a political space to actually show that you had an exposure of a nation that actually has a very valid political case right now. So it's a privilege to be actually studying international relations in Cyprus.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I mean, there's a lot to talk about politically. The division on the island, and of course the Middle East, the situation in Turkey, with Russia, and Syria next door. It's a very, very.
It's a what? Yes, it's a what one, right?
I'm sure there's lots of things that you could talk about amongst your lecturers and your colleagues at university. But and you're happy at Cyprus International, yes?
Very, very much. It has given me a platform for me to be able to understand the subject at length, and we have a lot of interactive programs that we have that actually enhance our understanding. So it's been, the whole process of being in Cyprus has been one of the greatest experiences of my life.
So no regrets about coming here to study?
None at all, none at all. I think I've grown individually, I've grown academically, and I've grown spiritually even. So it's been a great platform for me to actually propel my life. Yeah. Very
interesting. We'll come back to you in a minute. Let's speak with Chipo once again. Now, Chipo, again, the similar questions to what I asked Sean. How did you find out about North Cyprus? I mean, there you are again in Zimbabwe. Is it similar to Sean's story? I mean, did you have somebody that you knew who studied here, or?
Mine's actually quite different. I actually stay in South Africa with my family. We moved there in 2005. So, coming towards the end of my high school career, a friend of mine introduced me to an agent. I actually wanted to go to the States for a while, so they were helping me with my SATs and everything. And along the lines, some would say I got cold feet, but I just felt like I wanted somewhere different. I didn't actually want to go to America. I didn't want to go to Britain. Those were options my parents were pushing, but I didn't feel like I wanted to go there. So I said to my agent, I'm like, look, are there any other places that are there that are available? And he mentioned China and Cyprus. My mom said no to China immediately. So I was like, okay, well, let's see if Cyprus goes. So I made a few applications, and I was like, the first one that comes, I'm going to take it. And the first one that came was Cyprus. I got my acceptance letter. I saw it, I was like, okay, I knew no one. I was literally coming here blind. I knew of Cyprus because in Zimbabwe I used to go to a Greek school, so one of my Greek teachers actually told me about the island and everything. Then for it to come back up, when I found out, okay, this is where I'm going, a lot of people were like, do you know anyone there? I was like, no, I don't even know if they're Africans there. It's just me. So when I landed here, I saw it, I was like, okay. I didn't come in with any expectations. I was just taking whatever would come to me. I saw it, I was like, I can work with this. And from there, I've just been building up on that. I actually enjoyed it. I actually liked the place. So I don't regret coming here at all. I'm actually quite glad I came here. It's really built me. It's taught me a lot. I've encountered a lot of very interesting situations here.
It is, a great country for studying now. I mean, we've got so many great universities. And again, Eastern Mediterranean University in Famagusta Gazi Mausa is a very, good university. I'm sure you've made some great friends there and learnt a lot. Computer engineering is an unusual subject to choose. Is there a specific reason for this?
My parents, to be honest, because when it came to choosing, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I actually wanted to study drama for a bit, but then I realized I don't have that drive to be a struggling artist, so I was like, no. So I just used this time to get a degree, and I've discovered along my journey I'm actually quite the opposite of what I'm studying. I'm more into the arts, more into writing, into blogging, into speaking and stuff like that. So hopefully once I'm done with this, I'm going to pursue something in that direction instead. So
maybe combine your artistic side
with the technical side. I actually am grateful for computer engineering because of that I became more tech savvy. So it's helped me with things like web design, blogging as well. I didn't realize I actually needed that much knowledge on the internet and how things work, HTML code and all those things. So it gave me a bit of an advantage there as well.
Excellent. So actually, I mean, when you think about it, technology today is very important in our lives. So you learning about all this is going to help you in the future.
That's true.
What happens when you graduate? Are you going to continue further studies here or another country or go back to Zimbabwe?
I think I'm probably going to go to another country first. I like exploring, which is how I actually ended up here. So I want to travel the world a bit, probably end up, I'm looking towards Europe, one of the European countries to further my studies there, but I do want to go back home eventually. So
hopefully one day.
Yeah, hopefully.
But Chipo, I want to ask you, I mean, because when you said about, you know, you could have gone to America or maybe even to the UK, but you actually didn't want to go. And that's quite unusual because normally people want to go further afield to bigger countries like this, more developed countries, and don't really want to end up in a small Mediterranean island. You know, but, I mean, is it because you wanted to develop yourself first and then maybe conquer a bigger country?
I felt like I wasn't ready for a place as big as the States. I know it sounds very strange. I know when I told my friends that, some of them argue with me. They're like, but you could have grown there. I'm like, no, I just didn't feel like I'd be ready for it, which is why I was grateful for when I came to Cyprus, and I found coming to Cyprus was a learning experience of its own. So when I look at that, I'm like, no, I definitely needed somewhere like here. I feel like it was a good transition zone for me. Do I regret not going to the UK or the States? Not really. Economically as well, it saved my family a lot of money as well. And it's prepared me in a way that I don't think I would have gotten had I gone to those places before. So I'm actually quite glad I came here. It's helped me. I feel like now I'm prepared to take on places like that, to go there, because I'm seasoned. I'm used to being away from home. I'm in a very, very different zone because I feel like Cyprus is a place where you really, really have had to learn how to handle yourself. It's one of those places, it's either you learn to adapt and you find your way, or you just end up in the current, you just go with the flow.
Yeah.
You kind of make it, you make your experience is what you see, your perception counts here, and that's something I took on. I came here and I was like, you know what, I'm going to make the most of it as best as I can, and because of that, I'm leaving here with no regrets, and yeah.
Well, you are a very positive lady. You've both got positive attitudes, and it's great to meet you guys. You said that you didn't even know if there were any other Africans in Cyprus, but now you know that we have quite a big African community. I mean, even I didn't know until a few years ago, until, you know, I met via this program some great students from Africa. Like I said, everyone that I've met so far has been positive, really inspiring. I mean, you know, you have great talents, I think. I mean, that's why when you did computer engineering, I thought to myself, well, you know, I don't see you as a computer engineer. I see you as more of a, you know, somebody artistic or, you know, with a talent. I mean, I've had here, I think, you know, some fashion bloggers, designers, I've had musicians, MB3s here, you know, other writers. I think, you know, there's been a great increase in the number of African students studying here and really embracing the Cypriot culture. Tell me, Sean, what do you think? I mean, now that you've been here for a few years, you've seen what Cyprus is about. I mean, are you seeing a good positive vibe amongst the African community here in Cyprus?
There's been a lot of changes from the time that we initially came. The first group of Africans that came were kind of not assimilated. We're not accustomed to the, you know, to transitions, to the changes. But now with the people getting used to each other, there's a lot of changes that are positive. Integration into society, we're seeing exposure through such programs as yours, opening up. For my book, for example, bookstores are opening up to wanting to actually push our material. So there's been a change in the way that we perceive each other as people. And that too is going to open a lot of doors in terms of opportunities, in comments and both cultural exchange. So I think in the past 4 years, I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of changes in terms of Africans getting employment, and also in terms of Africans learning the language, learning the culture, learning the custom. We're having a new breed of people that are actually wanting to build up the nation of Cyprus collaboratively and through contributions that are different. And so platforms like yourself are really helpful, to be honest with you.
No, it's our pleasure to be of a service to you guys, because you are part of our community here. It's great to see multiculturalness in North Cyprus, because we are really we are famous for our hospitality here.
Yes, true.
That's true.
And I hope that's true. I hope that you get that positive feedback from us. But it's amazing and a very big pleasure for us to have guests like you on our programs, to hear about what you're doing, your experiences here. I'm sure maybe some of our viewers will be encouraged. This program is also aired on satellite, so maybe other European friends will be watching this and maybe saying, wow, North Cyprus is a good place maybe to study, especially youngsters who want to study abroad. This is a valid country to
It is,
further education.
definitely it is.
Yeah. Chipo, now let's get to the real matter, how Sean introduced us to each other. Is that you are both in the process of, or you've written a book, or writing a book at the moment. Now you have done some, writing. Tell us a bit about your work.
Well, I've been writing I've been writing since I was 13, so that would be about 9 years now. 9 years I've been writing for. But the book that I recently released and got published, it's called Orchestrated. It's a book that's actually set in North Cyprus, and it's more focused on the African community. It's a book that came about from a lot of observations I've made from a couple of experiences I've gone through, some of my friends have gone through, and people we know of. But it's not about anyone in particular. I feel like I have to add that disclaimer there, because I've had a few people read it. They're like, "Did you?" I'm like, "No, it's not. Even if it was, I wouldn't say so." But
It's a mixture of people.
It's a mixture of people. What the plot is, it takes the point of view of a group of popular kids who are known to not run the island as per se, but they're the more prominent figures. They're the people who run the parties. They're the people who dominate the land of Instagram. It's basically those kind of people and the lifestyle they live, and it shows their different perceptions, the different perspectives from each and every single one of their lives. It's like several different cliques of friends. And what causes the story is one of the friends actually dies at the beginning of the book, so it's not much of a spoiler. And her death opens up a lot of, it brings out a lot of skeletons that were hidden, a lot of secrets are unveiled, a lot of friendships are tested, and a lot of characters are revealed. So it deals with core issues like friendship. Friendship is an issue a lot of people a lot of young adults go through. Friendships are tested, friendships are tried, relationships, the different dynamics that are there. There are different kinds of relationships that happen on the island. Some are good, some are a bit pretentious, and some are even abusive. Some people are in abusive relationships, both genders, both ways. So it deals with that topic. It deals with the whole topic of sexuality, people going around having unprotected sex and the consequences that come with that, people going behind each other's backs, what it means to be a true friend, what it means to be your own person. So it brings about those kind of things. That was the purpose of the book, to get you thinking, to get people thinking, to see at the end of my stay here, am I proud of whatever, am I happy with whatever I achieved, am I the type of person I want to be, is there room for me to change, is there room for me to do more, have I done enough? So basically that was the purpose of the book. That's why I wrote it, as a means of awareness. Let me put it that way, because that's the type of writing I like doing.
Very interesting. I have to ask you, I mean, this is obviously, a book of fiction. It's not based on anyone or any events. But you say that the book is based in Cyprus.
Yes.
Yeah? So, I mean, are you referencing Cyprus in the book, some areas that we know? I mean, is the setting...
The setting isn't as important. There are a couple of things, obviously the beach, lifestyle, I guess, but it was just there so I could have a location to write about. But the issues are universal. You'll find a lot of these issues happen in every university, but for the sake of convenience, I took the dynamics of the social circles that are here, that you'd find here. That's the aspect of Cyprus I kind of used, yeah.
How did you, this idea, very interesting. You could have maybe written your own thoughts as a blogger, even, as you said, now with the internet and learning all about computers and technology, you could have just maybe shared your own thoughts on the internet. Because I met a couple of people who have done, fashion blogging, where they use their own styles and they want to share their own styles with, the public. You could have maybe just shared your own experiences, and again, and got the same maybe ideas out there. But how did you come out with an idea of a fictional story? Because it's not easy
It's not easy.
to keep it going.
What I actually just realized, one main detail that actually I used, that I adopted from Cyprus as well, as that gave me the idea, is the whole concept of HIV. I know if you're a foreigner here and you happen to be found with HIV, you're kind of asked to either go back home or... So I took that concept, that's where it started, where I was like, okay, the person who dies in the book, it's actually discovered that she has HIV, but she was in a relationship. So it brings about that question, okay, does it mean he has it? And the boyfriend that she had isn't exactly the most faithful guy around. So it goes along a whole trail of that. So how it started is a group of friends and I were talking about a concept for something we were starting. And I was like, okay, I want to take this idea. And initially it was actually supposed to be a script, but it wasn't flowing that way. And I was thinking, okay, do I turn it into a series on my blog? But I was like, I want it to be something more than that. I feel like I want to take it to a different level, which is how I ended up turning it into a book, because I was like, it gives me a bit more freedom. And I feel like it's easier compared. I felt like it was something that needs to be like in book form, something someone can keep, something that can be passed down, instead of it just being on the internet where it can eventually just fade away. I don't know if that's making sense.
I understand what you're saying, yeah. Very, very interesting. And at the moment, unfortunately, you didn't bring the book, because what you're saying is that if anyone wants the book, they can contact you, and then you can print it off. You have your own printers that can actually give a physical copy of the book. What's the response been like to your book? When you started sharing it with, it's one thing having it in your mind,
in my mind,
and writing it, but then giving it to other people to share. How has the response been from your circle?
It's been overwhelming, because initially when I finished the book, I sent it to a couple of people because I wanted to see, get their response, see how it is. So I sent it to a couple of friends and a couple of acquaintances as well, so I'd have a different view. And the views were actually quite the same, but I didn't expect, in a way I didn't expect. A lot of them actually found themselves reflecting. It's not like they were living like the lifestyles that were described there, but it was like it's either it reminded them of someone or it reminded them of a time where they maybe were caught up in the high life or something like that, and it evoked emotions out of them, it evoked thought, it started a lot of conversations, and because of that it actually even gave me a platform to talk about other things, to be able to talk to people about it, to help people with certain issues on this topic. So the response was actually quite overwhelming. I was very happy. I'm very happy with the response. I actually need to print out a couple because I've had people saying, when am I getting my copy? When am I getting my copy? So it's nice to know that people do want to read it. People are interested in what's there.
Great, I'm glad that you got such good positive feedback from everyone. Now, Sean, let's come back to you. And yes. I know that you are, at the moment, writing a book. And when we spoke very briefly before the interview started, it sounded to me like research, like maybe a thesis that you were doing for university. But actually, it's a book, isn't it?
It is a book.
Tell us a bit about yours. Is completely different now.
Yes.
It's not fiction. This is
non-fiction.
This is
yes,
research.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about your work, please, Sean.
So the background of it is I've always asked the question, what determines people to be successful or not? And this was triggered because partly in my childhood, I was exposed to the harsh poverty vis-a-vis the very wealthy. So for some time in my life, I actually was attending a private school with children of ministers and affluent business people. But at that time, my parents were actually still kind of elevating. So we're staying in a very poor area of the country. So I would go on a daily basis to school. And when I get to school, I find people are living in a certain way. They've got certain norms. They've got a certain language. They've got a certain perception of the world. And then when I go home and I see people in my neighborhood, I find that they've got a different set of culture in terms of approach to life, in terms of interpretation of situations, understanding of problems. So embedded within me from childhood was the question, what actually determines people to be successful and to be a failure? So I started up setting up my own business here in Cyprus, in Lefkosia. It was called Kenyan Group, NC. Now we've scaled, it's now called Kenyan Group International. When I was conducting my business, I became obsessed with the ideas of actually why other businesses are prospering and why wasn't mine performing the way I wanted it to. So as I started doing my research, which was end of 2014, around about, between from October, November, I started gathering information, and then I came across some literature that was actually helpful, and it simply stated that success is a matter of principles, and like physics, if the law of gravity is a law, so if you jump off a building, you're definitely going to land somewhere. So taking up to that ideal, I started understanding what are these principles and are they really universally applicable? Do they apply to someone who's from probably Uganda, and are they applicable to someone who's in China? So my research took me from that time. I even actually went to China last summer. Yes, that's actually when I actually wrote the main script, most of my main script, because between the time that I said I started and last summer, I was gathering information. My actual writing started when I was in China. I had a privilege to meet a lot of successful individuals in different areas, and I spoke through the phone, through interviews, through emails, some face-to-face, and I was gathering on the background of some principles that I came across in some books, some motivational books, some spiritual books, and I realized that there was a bit of consistency. There are some things that we could do that could actually result in people becoming successful, and that's what the book actually investigates. And
without giving too much away then about the book, because we want people to actually get the book, because I know that yours is going to be coming out physically, printed in February?
February, yes, February.
So February next year, or February 2016, we're going to be getting this book. So without giving too much away, what is the secret to success then? What are some of the basics? I mean, you say very, it's a bit philosophical,
It is.
a bit of hard work, a bit of positive thinking. But in your opinion, after the research, after conducting, the interviews that you had, give us an idea about what you think are some of the important rules of success.
Okay, before, initially, we assumed that success is one equation, one formula, one thing that will just answer every single thing that exists. But it's actually a compilation of many different things coming together. And not giving much away, I took a research on prisons, on the prison lifestyle, on prisons, yes. I wanted to understand those people that had been to prison and they came out and they're doing exceptionally well. And those people that go into prison and they actually either die in prison or they fail dismally. And so I came across some interesting information. First, we all know of the Stanford prison dilemma, right? That people take the role that they are assumed to take because that's what they're entitled to be, right? So if you go into prison and they say you're a prisoner and they call me, I'm a guard, I'm going to act accordingly. So it takes someone to actually escape from that title that society gives you.
Yeah.
So some people maybe are called poor, and because you're called poor, you're going to act accordingly. Someone you're called weak, so because you're called weak, you're going to act accordingly. Someone you're called wealthy, you're going to act accordingly. So those titles that people were given determine the way they behaved. So the guys that went to prison and they came out and they were doing successful businesses. One of them is the author of the book Wolf of Wall Street. He was a guy who committed fraud and then he went into prison. While in prison, he wrote a book that has been turned into a movie featuring, the movie, yeah. And he's been able to take his downfall as a way to catalyze his success. Another guy that I researched was his name is Kali Muscle. He's a YouTuber. He went into prison and he used his time in prison to gain, muscle. And when he came out of prison, he's using that to do commercials and YouTube videos, and he's making an income out of it. Yet, at the same time, there are people that escape from prison, and when they've escaped from prison, some way or another, they end up coming back to prison because it's an issue of principle. It's not about being in prison, it's about the mentality that you're having. So wherever you are, and this is very important, especially my research is a bit biased towards Africa and Asia, because those continents have been assumed to be impoverished. So I've got a lot of examples that actually show that it's not about your geographical location. You might be in a prison, metaphorically, but then it's about the mentality that you have towards who you become, and that is one of the major differences. There are many other principles that are there, to be frank with you, but I think that was my most interesting eureka moment.
Very, very interesting, and because I think with your background in international relations, I suppose you have studied various countries, conflicts, things that are going on, especially in our near area. So maybe you can I don't know, maybe have a knack to judge people, to see people, and to make your own ideas.
Yes, sir.
But very interesting. I mean, again, like I asked Chipo, I mean, how did you come about the idea of making a book? I mean, you could have just, I don't know, kept these ideas to yourself. Why did you want to really write a book, Sean? I mean, was it important for you to write your words down and keep them for forever?
Yes, initially it was for self-affirmation. I told you that I was running my businesses, and I needed a reference point. And then I met a certain man. He's in Turkey. He's a businessman, George Kumni. He's also an author. I would like probably to share one of his links. He's got a Turkish book that is giving out for free, actually. So the man, he showed me that you can interpret your story to actually impact people. And in so doing, you are able to actually find a way of figuring out yourself even more. So it was very necessary for me to express the ideals that actually constitute to success, because it's a sensitive matter when it comes to me. So yes, definitely, it had to take a lot of mentoring, a lot of inspiration, a lot of the desire. People like her are people that are stepping out and going to do the things that are within their hearts. And with a compilation of all that gave me the courage to actually write text. I don't have much of a literature background like she does, but I've been able to partner with people that do to work out one of the, I think, the best books that I've ever came across myself.
Oh. Very, very modest there.
Yes.
I have to say that, it's not easy for anyone to write a book, or even to write a blog that people would be interested in reading. So, I congratulate both of you on your great success in writing a book. Sean, I want to ask you again, I mean, do you think that because you are living in Cyprus at the moment, and with the relaxed atmosphere, and you are studying, so you have some time, maybe this atmosphere here helped you to write a book? I mean, if you were maybe somewhere else in a busier or different environment, maybe you wouldn't have the chance or even the courage or the opportunity to write a book. Do you think that Cyprus has helped you in a way to fulfill this dream of yours?
Absolutely, absolutely. Cyprus could have been, it's an incubating place. It's a place that I found to be, it allows you to grow. Yeah. There are not too many things that can, crush you like in any other places. For example, a simple thing, but it's a big thing. Whilst I was in China, you find that everyone is just concerned about their life. People just crossing, bumping to each other, running for the train, running for the subway, running for the bus. No one takes time to actually interact, and no one takes time to actually, be concerned about the next person. But in this atmosphere, we're able to network, you're able to interact with people. There's a more humane, the hospitality thing you spoke about. Mm-hmm. People are more accommodating, people are more caring. You can meet someone randomly and that person can just, you know, like what you did, you know, earlier on, linking me to the next, you know, bookstore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just meet someone and then they can just be the next catalyst for your success. It's most places people are just concerned about themselves and they're just pushing into. So Cyprus for me was probably the best place for me to do my work on.
Right. So at the moment, as we said before, you are preparing to launch the book or to have the book published, printed.
Yes, in fact, the manuscript is done. What is causing it to come next year? My booking consultant advised that it would be wise if it comes out in the year 2016 for their own technical reasons. So the main aspect of the book is, to be honest with you, it's done. A few things are still being added. Is a list of other people who have been coming up. Some people that we spoke to are responding now. So we're now having the legitimacy to actually add the information. But at the bulk of the book, it's already done. It's approximately 250 to 300 page book. So it's quite...
You have already spoken to a couple of bookstores in Lefkosha, you said.
Yes, I have.
So hopefully it'll be there. And then I advise you to go to a couple of bookstores in
Yes,
Guinea
you do.
area,
Thank you so much.
where they sell English language books. So it'll be an even better place to launch your book and everything as well. Do you think that this is the start of maybe something new for you to continue? Because normally with authors, they finish one book and they have it published and they've got another book in their minds. So do you think, are you like that? Or are you thinking, I'm finished now, don't want to do anything more to do with literature?
I'm not sure, but the process has been one of the most exciting times of my life. It is the most exciting thing about it was it exposed me to people that are doing exceptionally great things, and it made me realize that there's a space for you to actually achieve greatness. So that is one of the greatest things that I took. And whilst I was still in Turkey, I met another guy. He's into motivational speaking. So he was saying, hey, with those ideas that you have, maybe you should also look into that. So that could be the direction that I might most likely take, life coaching, that.
Excellent.
Yes, but for now, I think it's just a book. We'll just see as time goes.
Having said that, as I'm listening to you, I'm more and more fascinated. Life coach is very popular in America, in the UK. People, we need to lean on somebody sometimes.
True. Or
get advice from other people. Is that something that you think would go down well maybe in Zimbabwe if you return there and do some positive? Are the Zimbabweans very open to sharing experiences and learning from others? Because it seems like you all connect to each other very well as a community, especially here on the island. Is that something that you could maybe do back in Zimbabwe? Be a life coach or motivate people?
Yes, it is. When I was conducting my research, it's motivational material. So I had to contact most motivational speakers in Africa.
Yeah.
So I had an awesome response, and there are people that are doing exceptionally well. It's a growing market in Africa. People are realizing the need for you to have someone. If you've got a football coach, if you've got a lecturer, why not just have a life coach? So there are big names now, profile names in Africa that are speaking at platforms and changing things. And it's a space that is still growing. It's still small. It's not as big as America, with the Brian Tracy's or Tony Robbins or Robert Kiyosaki's. But we still have a growing market. And it's probably the right time to enter that market. So yeah.
Very good. Well, we'll have to look out for you and see
Yes.
how far you go with this adventure of yours. Chipo, let me ask you again. As you said, the book. They can anyone out there who wants to read the book. Can you repeat the name of the book again for everyone out there?
It's called Orchestrated. Orchestrated. Yes.
Okay. And do you, in your mind, have the bug to write more again? Now that you've had such a good response for your first book, are you intending to maybe write some more?
Most definitely. Writing is one of my passions.
Yeah.
I'm actually already working on a couple of other books already. It's like a never-ending process for me. Like, I'm actively working on 2, but if you see my documents, they're like so many different started files of, because I'll get an idea, I'll run with it for a couple of chapters, then I'll leave it, I'm like, okay. But there are 2 I'm actually actively working on that I should be done with, probably by mid next year. But yes.
Excellent. And again, let me ask the same question I asked Sean. Do you think that living here now in North Cyprus, it's inspired you or allowed you to express your feelings via your words in the book?
It most definitely has. It most definitely has. I actually wrote my first book in the summer of 2014. That was last year in Cyprus. I was doing summer school, but I was only doing 2 courses, so I had all this time on my hands. I was like, this is a perfect time for me to write. And living in Cyprus, if I hadn't lived in Cyprus, I wouldn't have gotten this experience that I could write about. So for Cyprus, it basically gave me the platform I needed. Good internet, no power cuts, no electricity shortages that we experience back home. So I could write as long as I want to. It's a comfortable area, not stressful, especially during summer. It's very quiet, very relaxing. So it gave me the right platform, the right space, environment to write.
Excellent. Well, I want to say well done for orchestrating. And again, are you blogging at the moment? Do you have a blog site?
Yes.
There may be somebody out there who wants to contact you, or maybe to meet you, or even to read what you have to share. If you can share your contact information.
I actually have 3 blogs. One I recently made dormant. I'm not posting on it anymore, but that used to be my main blog. It's called The Chronicles of Every Woman. It's on WordPress, so the link is chroniclesofeverywoman.wordpress.com. And then I have 2 other blogs. One is more for my thought pieces, for me to, where I allow other people to contribute. It's called Mind My Mind, but then there's an ellipsis. So it's a place where if I have any issues I want to address, it's more personal, more conversational. And I'm building up on that one because I want to make it a hub for thought pieces for other people. So I'm looking at asking other bloggers to contribute, people who may be unsure how to get onto the blogging scene that just need a little bit of a push. The link for that one is mindmymindbut.wordpress.com. And the third one that I have, I'm doing with a friend back home. It's actually a Christian blog for single people or people who are unmarried. So it's just offering encouragement, because in this world, being a single woman especially, and single African woman, before the age of 30, it's a bit of a process, it's a bit of an experience. So we just offer encouragement. It's humorous, we talk about some of our experiences, it's quirky, it's just to connect people, for a place for people to come laugh, to just feel love. That's basically what it is. And that link is waitimsingle.wordpress.com. Yes.
Fantastic. And of course, you are at the Department of Computer Engineering at East Metro University, so they can find you there as well.
Okay.
And Sean, can you repeat the name of the book that's coming out in February for us?
Yes, it's called Opulence.
Opulence.
Yes, opulence, which means wealth. It has a connotation of overwhelming wealth. And it's going to be released, as I said, in February. And the pre-release is going to be done by the 5th of January. So there will be the websites and the Amazon's accounts that will be set up dedicatedly from the 5th of January onwards. And
do you have any website, or yourself, or is there any way that people can contact you, maybe via Facebook even?
Yes, for now it's social media. That would be the best way to contact me. Sean Emmanuel Nota. And yeah.
Okay. Well, Sean and Chipo, thank you very much for coming in today to the studios of Find Out and sharing your wonderful stories with us. Very interesting. I wish you all the best for 2016. I hope that your success continues and that you both successfully graduate from your universities and from your departments. And it's been a pleasure to meet you guys, and good luck for the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And with that, we have come to the end of another very interesting couple conversation here on BRT2 TV. Until we meet again, take care and go well. Bye-bye.